Thanks.
So we're live and we're going to be waiting for people to come on. And I hope this is working.
Yeah, it looks like it. It says live. I think it's a good start. We're on the right track.
Well, I think it's 8 o'clock. So let's start, shall we? So I'd like you to introduce you to Catharine Ross. Now, Catharine is a clinical EFT and tapping practitioner. Catherine's been doing this for nearly 8 years and has been helping many people manage and overcome their stress and anxiety and even trauma. Now, Catherine's a mum like us, most of us. She's got 2 young girls. And we're so lucky to have Catharine. She has been featured in the House of Wellness with Channel 7. So thank you so much for joining us, Catharine. We really appreciate you spending this time with us. So we've got half an hour with you. And I was wondering to ask you, what brought you to tapping?
Yeah, so I came across tapping when I was a teenager. I went through some issues that I was trying to get resolution for through various means. I'd been to see a lot of different practitioners of different modalities. I'd done the talk therapy, counselling, hypnotherapy, you name it. I had basically tried it to overcome issues that I had as a teenager, issues with depression. I had abuse as well, a little bit of sexual abuse there as a 16-year-old that I didn't realise was affecting me until I actually came into EFT, and I had a session with somebody who completely helped me to move past that and actually process it at not just a conscious level but a subconscious level, and actually shift that trauma out of my body. And I have my mum to thank for my introduction to EFT, because she actually helped find this modality to help me where everything else was sort of scratching the surface but not getting to that point where I really needed to unlock something that had been held and stuck in my body and my mind for a very long time. So my mum introduced me to it, and I thought, well, fantastic. I really got some great results with the practitioner that I'd seen, and I left it alone for a little bit of time. Tried to do some stuff, like sales. I did every single job you could imagine under the sun, even door knocking. I was one of those annoying people that come and try to sell you energy. Try to find my way. It's really ridiculous, was that. But I did so many different things because I really wanted to find what I wanted to do, and I just couldn't find that path until the universe really provided me with that opportunity to do something more heart-centered. And that was when I got made redundant. And I thought, what a great opportunity to actually go and get certified in this modality that I experienced such amazing relief from as a teenager, and start my own business. So that was 8 years ago. I certified as a clinical EFT practitioner, and since then I've been running my business, helping people ever since. So passing on the healing that I received.
So Catharine, for a lot of people I spoke to, they didn't know what EFT and tapping is. Can you explain a bit about what it exactly is?
Yes, yeah. So the running joke is it's not FPOS, but it stands for emotional freedom technique. But some people know it as tapping, because that's essentially what we're doing. It looks really weird. It sounds a bit woo-woo, but it's actually an evidence-based technique. So the great thing is it's got all this clinical backing behind it and validation, clinical trials, brain scans, the lot. There's just so much evidence and research out there now, which is fantastic. So it's like a combination between it's like emotional acupuncture, essentially, without needles. So what you're doing is you're actually stimulating acupressure points that are on our face and on the body. And while you're doing so, you're actually talking about the issue that you have. So you're bringing to cognitive awareness the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the beliefs, the traumas, things like that have happened. But instead of talking about it like you're doing talk therapy, which actually triggers that fear response in the brain, while you're tapping, research has actually shown that that's the active ingredient, essentially, in being able to find relief from the things that you're working on. So while you're talking about your problems, you're tapping on these points on your face and upper body looking like a little bit of a loony, but it works and it brings down the intensity. It switches off that fight or flight response in our brain as well. So, when we think a thought or we think about something that we're stressed about, our amygdala, which is our fear response center, is starting to fire, and it's going into overdrive, and that can, send physical symptoms as well. So we all know how it feels to have physical stress in our body. And so what we're doing is switching off that response in the brain and allowing our body to process things and update our brain's learnings around what we're feeling and what's going on around us, and also what's happened in the past.
So is it like, does our body hold on to emotions and fears and things? Is that helping to release that?
Absolutely, because we talk about the body and the mind, but it's one. You can't actually separate the two. And trauma and stress is actually held in the body more than it's held in the mind. And you can feel that. You can get a really good sense of it, because if you recall a traumatic incident, you can actually feel tensing, your heart rate might start going faster. So trauma is held in the cells as well in our body. And so, if we think about all the things that we experience, think, see, take in every day, we can't hold it all up here because, our head's only this big. So it's in the body and stored in the body, and it gets stuck. And that's where we experience problems, that manifest into physical illness and disease ultimately as well. So this is a really process, not only to regulate your emotional state and clear blocks and feelings and emotions, but also to halt the disease process and actually reprogram your DNA. And that's the most fascinating part of EFT, is that it's actually been proven to affect 72 of our genes and the way that they're expressed, which says so much for, the overall health in terms of, disease processes and things that might start originating from stress.
Okay, wow. It's very interesting, and it's very connected to yoga. That helps release emotions through stretching your body out. And this is very similar but different.
Yeah, it's a somatic therapy because you're using your body, like you're incorporating body work but with mind work. So it's like getting a massage during a psychotherapy session, essentially.
Oh, wow. So what are some of the benefits? How quickly does this stuff work? And can you just share something like that with us?
Yeah, look, it's really quick. That's the amazing thing about it, is that I think that we're so conditioned in society today to believe that healing has to be hard and long drawn out process. And, especially when we're dealing with chronic conditions, we're taught to believe that you just have to manage them. You can't ever heal from them. And that's true for a lot of them, from an orthodox perspective. But generally, you get results really quickly. And I'm talking, you can bring yourself from a 10 out of 10 anxiety down to a 0 within a matter of minutes if you're focused enough on what it is that's actually triggering. So, I've had some pretty amazing results with clients, including, say, for instance, complete resolution, clinical resolution of PTSD that was basically like, there's no hope for you. You can't ever, you can just be on medication. We can give you some counseling, but apart from that, sorry, that's it. And we were able to get him to a point where he's completely free of that PTSD, which is really, really amazing. So, that was, I think, probably 6 sessions that we had. So 6 1-hour sessions. And there's some really cool studies coming out on how it actually is very cost-effective form of therapy too, because it takes such a short amount of time compared to conventional talk therapies or other interventions as well. So it's really quite exciting.
Oh, fantastic. So talk us through a session. What would a session look like? And then we can have a little practice maybe.
Absolutely. So it's really relaxed. It's very much guided by what you would like to work on. So I would, start off by asking a general sort of questions around what it is that's causing you the most problems in your life, like your most pressing issue. And then we'd sort of explore maybe, root causes of that. Not that you have to know consciously what they are, because tapping actually helps us to clear what might be blocking us from understanding what the root cause is. So it's really cool to be able to get, answers that you may not previously have had, and gain insight and clarity as well while you're tapping. But we just tap on what you're feeling. We will just sit there and I guide you through. I work online as well. So, it's just like a counseling session, but with this intervention. So I'll guide you through where to tap, what to say, as we actually tap through what it is that you're feeling, what's going on for you, maybe, go back to where that started and resolve it at a subconscious level as well.
Fantastic. So at the moment, I feel a lot of people have to, we're in lockdown now, so in Melbourne. So a lot of people are finding it hard to juggle self-care, looking after themselves and other commitments and stuff. Yes. How can we use tapping to look after ourselves and our well-being that we need to look after, mental and physical, at this time of extreme uncertainty, all being in the house together? Is there something that tapping can help us with in that area?
Absolutely. And I think that, even when we're not in lockdown, a normal sort of life, we tend to get so busy and we tend to make so many excuses as to why we can't give ourselves some self-care. And with tapping, like, there's literally no excuse. And I was just in before, and I messaged you saying I'm just settling my 21-month-old girl to sleep, and I thought, get trusted, right? Because you don't go from a screaming toddler to here and be like, yeah, all good. And I'm like, I can't go in like this and be all.
There's a transition.
Exactly. So I actually took 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes is all it took for me to literally tap myself down to a point of complete peace and calm, and I could let that. So, I think that it's such a great tool to incorporate into self-care because it's so quick and you can do it anytime, anywhere, for any issue as well. So I think that, when it comes to having so much on top of us at the moment with lockdown, with, what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to achieve, how we're trying to be everything to everyone, often we just feel like, we don't have time, or we're overwhelmed as well. So maybe we could do a tapping round overwhelmed and allowing ourselves the space to actually take care of our own needs. What do you think?
And I think that would be a great idea. So how about whoever's watching, get comfortable and sit in a comfortable chair? Would you suggest that would be the best way to start?
Absolutely, yeah. And if you can have hands free, that would be great. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's go.
No, I was just going to say, if you're feeling overwhelmed, let's focus on the word overwhelmed because it kind of encompasses a lot of like, I don't have time, I'm not worthy, I've got too many other people to service, all of that. And I want you to rate the intensity. So the good thing about EFT is that you can check back in and really compare your results from when you started to when you've actually finished the tapping round and see how it's shifted. So rate the intensity of the emotion that you're feeling out of 10. So if you're thinking about overwhelm, just give yourself a sec to check in with your body. Notice where it is in your body. Where's that overwhelm sitting? And rate it out of 10 as to how intense it is for you right now. And then when you've got a number, all you have to do is just choose a side. It's just, whichever one suits. I just use my waving hand. And then you tap with the other hand. So just light tapping. It's not the harder that you tap, the more results you get. I get that question a lot. So just tap.
So shall we start then? You go and guide us.
All I'm going to do is guide you. All you have to do is tap where I tap and say what I say, okay? So we're going to start tapping on what we call the karate chop point. So it's the side of the hand, and just taking a deep breath in and out. And just tune into that feeling of overwhelm and everything that means to you, and repeating after me, even though. And you can say it out loud, Shavita, as well. Even though.
Okay, even though.
I feel so overwhelmed. I feel so overwhelmed.
I feel so overwhelmed.
Because there's so much.
Overwhelmed. Because there's so much to do.
And there's never time for me.
And there's never time for me.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though.
Even though.
I feel all of this overwhelm.
I feel all of this overwhelm.
Because there's so much on my plate.
Because there's so much on my plate.
I'm trying to be everything to everyone.
I'm trying to be everything to everyone.
And there's no room left for me.
and there's no room left for me.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And I choose to find peace right now.
I choose to find peace right now.
Okay, so top of your head. And it's just where that flat part is. Okay, all of this overwhelm I feel.
All of this overwhelm I feel.
And down to the eyebrow. All of this overwhelming feeling.
All of this overwhelming feeling.
Inside of the eye. There is so much to do and so little time.
There's so much to do and so little time.
And under the eye. And I'm trying to service everyone else's needs.
And I'm trying to service everyone else's needs.
It's so exhausting being everything to everyone.
It's so exhausting being everything to everyone.
There's no time left for me.
There's no time left for me.
And then I don't know if you can see there, but it's on the collarbone. If you find your collarbone and just go down about an inch where like gorillas beat their chest, that's it. And you say,
Yep.
All of the overwhelm I feel.
So you broke up there. What was that last one?
All of this overwhelm I feel.
All of this overwhelm I feel.
And under your arm where your bra strap sits, I'm trying to do so many things at once.
I'm trying to do so many things at once.
Then back to the top of the head, but it's all getting on top of me.
But it's all getting on top of me.
Eyebrow. And there's no time for self-care.
And there's no time for self-care.
Let it go.
Let it go.
I know that I can't pour from an empty cup.
I know that I can't pour from an empty cup.
And I know that I'm deeply worthy of self-care.
And I know that I'm deeply worthy of self-care.
Regardless of anyone else's expectations of me.
Regardless of anyone else's expectations of me.
It's safe for me to take time for myself.
It's safe for me to take time for myself.
And I choose to feel deeply worthy of doing so.
I choose to feel deeply worthy of doing so.
Clearing anything that's in the way of that now.
Clearing anything that's in the way of that right now.
Including this overwhelm that I feel.
Including this overwhelm that I feel.
Choosing peace and calm right now in this moment.
Choosing peace and calm right now in this moment.
And I'm really proud of myself for giving myself this opportunity.
I'm really proud of myself for giving myself this opportunity.
To practice self-care right now in this moment.
To practice self-care right now in this moment.
And I know that I can do that from now on.
And I know that I can do that from now on.
Because I'm doing it right now.
Because I'm doing it right now.
And I'm choosing peace and calm in this moment.
I'm choosing peace and calm in this moment.
Okay, so deep breath in and out. Okay, so then you check in. So check back in with that feeling. See if you can work it up again. Rate the intensity of it out of 10, and ideally it should be going down. So some people get a massive jump. Some people just start going down a little bit. But do it as many times as you need to get it down to about a 3 or below, because that means it's manageable and it's not in front of mind, and we can get on with that day. If it's not a 10 out of 10, if it's a 3, it's quite manageable, and hopefully it can get to a zero as well.
Oh, so how often, like the video will be up on the Facebook group, how often should they do this
So
little
as
sequence
many times
to
as
help
you like.
them?
Yeah, so I try to do it at least every day. So if you can just commit to, 7 minutes every single day, that will really start to create positive shifts
Yeah.
in your life. So if you can find 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes is all it takes just to reset your energy and bring about more peace. And when you have less stress in your life, everything else flows, including your health as well. So, do it for 10 minutes if you can. Do it for 15. There's no like hard and fast rules, but as long as you do at least 5 minutes, you're going to start noticing some shifts as well.
Yeah. Okay, and I find that when you're creating a new habit in your life, it's always good to couple it up with something you're already doing,
Yes.
like brushing your teeth before you have your morning coffee, do your tapping, and then have your morning coffee, because then it's easier to incorporate in your daily routine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Absolutely.
find
I do
that's a
it in
good
the
way of scheduling something in?
Yeah. So when my girls get up, they don't
Yeah,
get up straight away. And so I will just lay there and give myself 5 minutes to tap. And that's even if I incorporate it with a meditation. I sometimes lay there, if I don't want to wake my partner up, I will sit there doing a meditation and actually just tap along with it as well, because tapping is a really great way to incorporate, or a thing to incorporate into an existing practice that you have as well. It just really turbocharges the results of like meditation, visualization, all of that kind of stuff too. So make it part of your routine. And sometimes I say to my clients when they say that they forget to tap, I say set an alarm in your phone, put it in as an event on your calendar so it's always popping up in front of you. And it might be when you're cleaning your teeth. It might be when you're in the shower. A lot of people do it when they're in the shower. They just tap through their points. It's nice and relaxing in the water as well. So whatever works for you, wherever you can find 5 to 10 minutes a day, do it and start making it part of your self-care routine, because that is, it's a more resourceful way to take care of yourself rather than, the other things that we tend to liken to self-care, like, having a glass of wine. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can do that. Absolutely. I'll probably be doing that after this.
yeah,
But
same here.
Yes. But just make it part of your routine, because it is such a great way to up level your mindset, to shift things that are really heavy, things that are going on, the ups and downs of life. It just brings about greater peace and balance. And we all know that when we're in homeostasis, everything else works in our body too. So if we're eliminating the source of stress, we're eliminating the stress response, you're also then going to be helping your body process things and to halt any disease processes that get that arise as a result of stuck energy as well.
That's fantastic. And has anybody got any questions? Somebody's just got, do you need to know do you need to know the mantra exactly with the wording?
No. So that's what I think people get very hung up on when they're thinking about tapping themselves, because like, what do I say? And the thing is that you just go with whatever you're feeling. So as long as you tap and you talk about the problem, you're going to get benefit. The more specific you are while you're actually tapping, the more results you're going to get as well. So you don't have to know the mantra. No, absolutely not. You just tap, you just keep it specific to the issue. So for instance, if it's anxiety that you're feeling, you would say, even though I have this anxiety, I love and accept myself. And then just tap through all this anxiety, all this anxious feeling. I feel so anxious about this, all this anxious feeling. So just keep it short and sweet, specific to the point, and you'll get the results. So it doesn't matter if you stuff it up. The great thing about tapping is that you can't really make a mistake. Even if you skip a point or you don't know what to say, you're still going to get somewhere. It's really the people's method.
And there's another question that's come up. Do you need to do both sides of the body?
Great question. Very common one as well. No, you don't have to. So the meridian points, the acupressure points, or acupuncture points are actually located on both sides of the body, but that doesn't mean that we have to actually stimulate both sides in order to get benefit. You'll get the same amount of benefit whether you stimulate one, like the right side or the left side, or both as well. So some people just like to do both because, that just makes them feel better. That's absolutely fine. If you just want to use one hand, use one hand. No, once again, right or wrong.
Okay, wonderful. There's some more questions popping up, which is great.
Great.
Do you tap at the same points each time?
Yeah, so the series of 9 points, right? So it's the we got the karate chop that we start on, which is number 1, and then top, this one on the eyebrow. So it's not it's not in the middle of the head. It's actually where the eyebrow starts, and then the side of the eye, under the eye, on the nose, chin, collarbone, and under the arm. So some people like finish on different points and start on different points if you see YouTube videos, but don't worry because it's it's all the same at the end of the day. So 9 points in general use. Yeah.
And they can always watch, and they can watch back this video to practice the points. Okay, another question we've got here. Can you tap to help insomnia?
Yes, absolutely. So insomnia, right? When we can't sleep, usually there's some part of our brain that doesn't feel safe enough to switch off. So you're like animals of prey, for instance. I used to have house bunnies, and rabbits are very much prey animals. They don't sleep with their eyes closed. They won't relax unless they feel totally safe in their environment. So if you translate that into our very primal part of our brain and our subconscious, if it doesn't feel safe enough to switch off, it's not going to. So whether you're consciously aware of what might be keeping you awake or not, that's that part of your brain that's like, hang on, something needs to be front of mind here, where we need to stay on alert. So you can absolutely tap for insomnia. You can tap on, even though I can't go to sleep, I choose to relax because I'm safe. So if you're tapping for insomnia, really inculcate that message of safety, because that's what the brain needs to hear, that it's safe to switch off, it's safe to go to sleep. I use it on my girls all the time. It's really good for kids too and their sleep issues.
Oh, that to the next question. This is, can I teach my 6-year-old tapping? Any tips?
Yes, absolutely. Tapping is applicable to all ages, and I've been tapping on both my girls since they were babies. So I work with children as well, a one-on-one, and you can absolutely. Yeah, you can tap with them. I have an ebook out for it's $9.95. It's for parents on how to actually use EFT with children too. So there are many different applications, many different ways you can introduce it. The best way I would say is just to like call it a relaxation technique, and at bedtime to introduce it to them and get them comfortable with the technique. Just get them to talk about their day. So like, tell me about the best parts of your day, and then tell me about anything that you didn't like about today or anything that didn't go well. And while you're doing that, just say, do you mind if I just tap on some points? They're like magic buttons on your body, and what they do is they help us to process any yucky feelings that we have, and allow us to feel calm and allow us to go to sleep. So how does that sound? It's a really gentle way, introducing it to them, and it's also going to help them sleep too. So that gets them used to it.
And do you say the same words like I completely with your children as well? Like,
no, not necessarily. So it's very age appropriate. So that affirmation that we say in the setup statement, that even though I have this problem, it's so flexible what you can say at the end. It can be, I love and accept myself. It can be, I'm safe. In the case of children, I like to use, I'm a really great kid, or I'm a good boy or a good girl, or my mum and dad love me very, those types of things. So make it applicable to the age group and what might work for them.
Yeah. Excellent. I think we've got one more question. Are there only 8 points to tap, or can you tap elsewhere?
In clinical EFT, which is the version of EFT that has been clinically researched, there are, I think it's 9 points. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, so 9 points that we use.
Yes.
There are other points and stuff, like there's an ankle point, there's a below the nipple point and stuff, but we don't use that in general EFT, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get more results if you use that either. It's just the simplified version of the points that we use for any issue, no matter what's going on.
Fantastic. I think we've answered all the questions. Catharine, thank you so much for giving up half an hour on this Wednesday evening. We really appreciate you sharing that with us. And where can people find you? I've got your website up on the event, so if people want to go up there and have a look, I'll also put it up. You could maybe tell them as well.
Yeah. So it's breakfreewitheft.com. And I also have a Facebook page under the same name. So, Break Free with EFT. And there are some tap along videos in there. There are some, what's it called? Resources on my website as well if you wanted to take a look. And I do sessions one-on-one too. So you're most welcome to contact me with any questions that you have, or comment below with any further questions too.
Oh, thank you so much. And you got YouTube video as well. You've got a YouTube channel, that's where I found Catherine, on the YouTube channel. So we're very lucky to have you. We really appreciate you, and you can get back to your wine now.
Get stuck into it. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for having me, Shavita. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We've had quite a few people interested. So if any questions, just put them down. And if you can't think of anything now, we can always answer them later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much. See you.
Just end the podcast. Thank you.